Okay, hi guys. My name is Vishal. I've been a tech guy for the last 30 years. I started coding when I was really, really young, so probably 10 years old, 1990s. I'm a tech founder. I've personally filed about 25 patents. So I'm going to make a lot of controversial statements today, and please feel free to interrupt me in the middle, and it's going to be more of a conversation. So I'm going to drive a few new concepts, how the industry is going to go, and so I have a very different perspective. So we're basically building a mathematical provable documents platform, and we won the National Award for India last year. It was given by the current sitting Minister of Commerce. Okay, so let's move forward. Let me just figure out how this works. Yeah, okay. So fintech boom is underway, and let's include crypto inside it, or maybe there's a crypto bust underway right now. So I'm here to cheer you up, guys. So there is an unsolved problem for fintech. The big unsolved problem for fintech is that there's an international binding law between all central banks that we're going to fight crime. And what that means is that every bank has to classify non-face-to-face transactions as high risk. And what that means is you need to do mandatory anti-impersonation checks and due diligence checks. What that means is you need to make sure that you're not signing up criminals, and you are signing up PEPs, politically exposed people, and you're making sure that they're not doing any money laundering. For that, you need a name, date of birth, and address. If you don't have the right date of birth or address or name, you cannot do that check. And the problem is this part gets defeated by simple Photoshop. There is no technology which can prevent the photoshopping of these three things. And that's why all banks require physical KYC. So this is the huge problem of the industry. So there is no way to get valid name, date of birth, and address to mandatory criminal checks. Let's look at the different ways you can actually do these checks. So when you do an image upload, anybody could Photoshop the image upload. And if you do a video interview, let's say you do a video interview with your passport holding on the background, you could Photoshop that passport in the background. There's no way to check it. When you do penny drops in the bank account, and you're verifying the bank account, you cannot check date of birth and address. You can only check the account name. When you do a credit card verification, you cannot check name and date of birth. You definitely cannot check date of birth. Name, maybe sometimes. And address only works on at a national level. When you do postal verification, you cannot check name and date of birth. You can only, people can sign and receive the package. And when you do template checks like AI, all the KYC players, we all do AI. The AI cannot check if the document is photoshopped. There's no way. And that's why we have issues with remote KYC. You have impersonation issues, you have synthetic identity issues, you have fraud, AML. And this is a bigger problem in the industry. There is no online identity which exists today. We have fake news issues, we have cyber hacking, cyber crime, we have people, taking kids for a ride or whatever. So there's no way to check those people. And this is the hard truth of internet today. The hard truth is you can buy an identity. For now, the price has gone down. You can actually buy an identity for $20, and you will get a passport photograph, an apartment bill, a selfie, and a utility bill. And there's no way to verify a global ID document. There's no way to verify name, date of birth, and address. There's no way to check impersonation. So, for example, we tried this test. We took one of these driving licenses real, and the other one is photoshopped. And there's no way any human eye can tell which one is real. Forget artificial intelligence. Real intelligence cannot tell which one is real. So we tried this driving license on the top few exchanges. Any international exchange which is running today, you try that driving license. It's made by a one-year guy trained in Photoshop who's never done hacking before. This ID would pass through. And you would get a $100,000 trading limit on an international exchange today. This is the big problem. And on the other side, we have these privacy laws. In the last 1 quarter, we have got this snowball of privacy laws coming in, which is like the GDPR, the Aadhaar getting banned from the Supreme Court. All these things are snowballing on the privacy. The public loves privacy for some reason, except China. And on the other side, we have these anti-money launderings which are snowballing, where you have these, AMLD5 coming in, you have FATF applying this whole thing into crypto. This is all last 1 month, which is happening in the background. And you have IDAS getting implemented which is acceptable in banks in Europe. All these changes are happening in the last 1 month, last 1 quarter. And yet, on the other side, we have global, we have N26 or Revolut. These are the global darlings of the industry. The poster child of Germany. Germans are known for best engineering, right? And yet, they were found that anybody could hack those systems with a simple KYC. I mean, anybody could pass through those KYC. So they've all had KYC issues in the last 2 months. So KYC is like this emperor's clothes. The vendors know it doesn't work. The banks know it doesn't work. The regulators know they don't work. And they're all winking each other that it works. And this is the state of the industry. It's similar to the same. I hope this is a common cultural story, I would assume, that there was a king which was told that you can see these clothes, and anybody who has, let's leave the story. It's a long one, so let me not digress. So what we've invented is a new way to solve this problem. So what we do, let me propose a new process. So what we do is you have a user which logs into a profile page of any global website today. Like you can log into your US Social Security, or you can log into SingPass in Singapore. And when you open the website, you go to the profile page. It's based on SSL. And you capture the PDF. You capture a PDF of that web page. And what it does is it creates a hash of the SSL certificate along with the PDF and creates verifiable identity based on the PDF. And what it does is it encrypts the PDF and puts it in the cloud, and at the same time makes a hash which makes the PDF tamper-proof and puts that hash on the Bitcoin blockchain. So you get this beautiful document which is originally coming from the real source. It's an original document, which is tamper-proof, immutable, and for the first time in history, we have an original document which people can create as a self-service from any global website in one go. This is what blockchain enables and solves this global problem. And if you can do that twice, let's say you can log into your SingPass or your utility bill or your bank account and your utility bill, that's a multi-factor authentication. If you can produce 2 such PDFs, we can verify or validate anybody out of the 7 billion people on the globe, on the planet. Okay, so what this does, really, it's basically global fraud-proof eKYC platform. Think of it as a permissionless identity network. So we'll come back to this permissionless identity network in a few slides. So think of it as a global eKYC platform, which is tamper-proof, works across the 200 plus countries. It doesn't need OCR because it's directly scraping the data from the website. So you don't have that 96% accuracy issue, and you have 100% accuracy on the data. So you can actually translate from all the 180 plus languages we have directly into English, and you can have actually one staff which can actually read all these documents globally, and you don't have translation problems. And we can actually verify biometrically. If these websites have photographs in it, we could actually match the face of the person with the person who's pulling the PDF. So you get biometric verification of over 2.5 billion people on the planet on the spot. So let me see if we can play this video. Hang on. It does work. So let's say you log in with a mobile number, and you put in your SMS. It's a document wallet. You put in your name and date of birth and email address. And you go to this screen where you press ID proof. Let's say we have a country called, let's say we take India, for example. You can press PAN card. This is the income tax website in India, for example. So it takes you to the government website. You can press login or register or reset your password. You press login. You put in the details. It's been, yeah. And you're in. You go to the profile page, press profile settings, press my profile. On this website, you have to press another button. So you see your profile right there on the government website. You have your name, date of birth, and address. And you just press captcha, and it's done. Your digital identity on a global basis is kind of sorted. So it automatically verifies your name, date of birth, and address on that document and puts a tick on the spot. Let me show you how the PDF gets stored. So every PDF has its own key, which is encrypted by your own private key. So you're in control of these documents. So you go to the PDF, you can see your name and date of birth and stuff. And you can check the SSL, that it's coming from the Department of India, the Department of Income Tax from the Government of India. You have the SSL key. You have the QR code you can use to verify that document. And it works globally. Yeah, that's the Department of Income Tax. OK, so let's just skip this video. There's another one. So this way, you can actually cover all the countries, all utility companies across the globe, all the bank accounts across the globe. We can also directly read the chips on the passports and actually get your photograph and date of birth and stuff and verify you. It's end-to-end cryptographic and verifiable. So basically, SSL was invented in 1996, based on which the whole e-commerce and banking works today. And this is if SSL wouldn't have existed, we wouldn't have had internet or e-commerce as such, the way we see it. So we're extending that to verify global documents. And you can access, using that, secure pages across the globe and verify people. So basically, in a nutshell, you log into any website, that's an anti-impersonation check. And when you press captcha, that's an anti-fraud check. When you do that twice, that's a very strong anti-impersonation check. And this solves the whole global identity problem. So here's the secret formula, which is very funny. It's MC cube. And so online identity equals to multi-source authentication. If you don't have multiple sources, the identity is not strong enough. If the data is not certified from SSL, it's worthless. If it's not coming from a credible website, you cannot trust that data. So you need to have a whitelist of websites. And unless there's a cryptographic hash, you cannot trust this whole document. So you need these 3 C's, you need the multi-source, and that's what online identity is. And that's how the self-sovereign identities are going to emerge as a self-service way. So that's kind of us. Let's just skip that and straight away go to... So now let's just zoom out. What we're doing here? What is blockchain and what's the big picture here? Why this crypto market is going to take over? So internet was invented in the 1970s. It was a network of devices based on IP addresses designed to store and exchange data. Blockchain is a network of identities based on public keys designed to store and exchange value. However, it took us 10 years to realize that the IP addresses need to be human readable. So in 1983, approximately, we invented domain name systems. And it took us 10 years to realize that we need to have credibility on internet. And in 1996, we invented SSL. Netscape invented SSL. And that's how the e-commerce and banking became possible.
Sorry, Vishal. You have 2 minutes.
Yes. Oh, all right.
2 minutes.
I'll go really fast. Okay.
Thank you, Za.
And it took us 20 years to realize we need these things to be searchable. So what we're proposing here is mobile numbers are a perfect way to point to these identities, like domain names. And SSL, we're extending the SSL of internet, which is corporate SSLs, to individual identity SSLs, which will make the whole blockchain more credible. And contact directories are going to be where all the PKI is going to sit eventually on your phone. It's going to replace blockchain, mark my words, blockchain is going to replace your contacts book on the smartphone. Blockchain is going to eat Android and iOS. That's what I think. That's where the smartphones are going to go. Okay, and then you need a global access system, which is LDAP. We're short of time, so I'll skip that. And here's the bold statement. This is why blockchain is going to take over the whole fintech space. Blockchain is a magic bullet to prevent money laundering. This is opposite of what you've heard so far. Because you can track assets across borders, you can track assets across time, and you can track assets across asset classes. I mean, you can track everything across asset classes. You can track money going into real estate, from real estate to cash, to stocks, to bonds, to whatever, and across the borders. This is the only way banks can avoid liability in the future. So what we do is, once you create these digital identities which are rock solid on blockchain, what we do is you can attach any wallet across any blockchain. It can be Ethereum, it could be Bitcoin, it could be Litecoin, it could be any blockchain. You can attach those addresses to your identity, and we expose a free API where anybody could ping and check if this wallet is green or red without knowing that person. So you could actually check where you're getting those funds from. You can check where those funds came from further, and you can actually do a green or a red check across blockchains. So that's the best AML systems banks could ever have or dream of.
60 seconds, Vishal.
Yeah. So you can actually use this system to actually do an automated EDD, enhanced due diligence. You can actually check not only where the funds are coming from and the wallets, the score of the wallet, if it's verified. You can actually see where your customers are using those funds, and actually, I hope they're not financing terrorism in the future. So you could actually keep track of future transactions, not just the past transactions. So this is where the world is going to go. I think decentralized AML is where the world is going to go, and that's what the world needs. It's going to actually end crime. The blockchain is going to end crime in using AML systems. So this is, I think, where the technology is going to start. It's going to start in phase 1 in all the crypto ecosystems. Fintechs, eventually these digital identities are going to take over offshore, all the offshore company formations, all the e-visa issuance, all the licensing, domain name issuance, SSL, trademark issuance, shared marketplaces. All these things need verified credentials. If you're marrying someone or dating someone, you need to know if those people are not criminals. Employee verifications, locksmith. I mean, there are hundreds of places the whole identity system is going to go. So this is where the blockchain is nothing but an identity network. It's not Bitcoin, it's not crypto, it's the identity network which we're making. So let me just sum it up. This is what the current technologies offer. They are beaten by Photoshop, no baseline biometrics and data on a global basis, and you have physical KYC. That's the only way you can do it. With blockchain, you can actually do multi-factor authentication, link to institutional data directly to the real source. You can do it's global and verifiable. It works globally. And it eliminates stolen, fake, or synthetic identities. The whole hacking problem goes away. That's where we're headed. Thank you, guys. Any questions, please feel free. Thank you.